First, let me introduce myself. I'm, as you said correctly, Jochen said I'm Austrian, but living in Switzerland, so it's the next Swiss company here today. We are also in Zug headquartered, like OTI, so that's by coincidence, or maybe tax-driven, I don't know. But finally, I was running PWD, a big Austrian water company, in the top management for a couple of years, 7, 8 years. Then I was CEO of Christ Water Technology Group, a project engineering group, and in the last couple of years I was working as strategic consultant for many water companies around the world. And one day I had the idea to start with a own group, called it Aquarius, and I wanted to build up a new water technology group which is focused on oil and gas and energy sector, because we have seen here the biggest growth rates, apart from food and beverage, which is very strong growing. Oil and gas is growing, because I will show you very soon the drivers of our business. But for our business, because we are a system integrator, we have not one technology or one chemical. We are integrating different kind of technology to a total solution for our customers. And therefore, we are a project engineering company. And as a project engineering company, certainly you need capital. You need capital to get from the banks the needed guarantees and the needed financing. And that's the reason why we're looking for investor. We have been so far come quite a long way without, but now we have to look for one, and we are happy to in discussion with Wermut about it. What are our investment highlights? We want to build a water technology group focused on oil and gas. We are a clear growth story. As I can show, we can grow strong organically, because there are many projects in the oil and gas sector, but we also want to grow by acquisitions. We have a longer list of targets, technology companies, access to market companies, which we want to acquire. We plan to achieve more than 100 million euro sales. Revenues sounds big, but this year we will, as I show you, make 30 million, so it's not a big jump. But when I took over Christ, we made 60 million euro, and when I left it 5 years later, we were 300 million euro without any acquisition. So it's possible in project engineering, provided you have the guarantees and the bank financing and the balance sheet which you need for that. What else we want? Yes, our EBITDA margin, we want to have double-digit, because when I was before in the business, and I have seen many, many water technology companies, mostly of them fight with 4 or 5% EBIT margin, and they're good run, they're well run, because it's a project engineering business, and you have civil construction, you have a dilutive effect on your margin. But there are niches, geographical niches, technology niches, where you get this high margin, because you have no competition or very little competition. And this is exactly where we want to focus us, not to have hundreds and thousands of employees. We want to have small teams, very dedicated to interesting niches of this market. And therefore, an EBITDA margin is possible. For example, you mentioned Milan. Milan made last year 14% EBIT margin. So you see, this is possible, and you can achieve it. So I have to. Yes, I told already, we are a system integrator. We want to differentiate this with technologies what others don't have. Either we are in geographical niche markets like Iraq, Libya, Nigeria, and so on, or and now we are looking for the Russian market, which is very interesting. What we have seen so far, there's a big demand for oil-water separation companies, and we also want to bring differentiating technologies. For example, for spent caustic in refineries, where we know a technology which is very interesting. What we are doing is, in oil and gas sector, we do upstream. That means everything you need to exploit oil, you need water. And the older the borehole is, the more water you need. And you have some old boreholes where 90% is water and 10% is oil. And with this high oil price, it's still profitable to exploit oil out of it. We are very strong in oil-water separation, water injection in the onshore area, but we are also active in offshore area where special requirements are, like sulfate removal and other. We have access and have these technologies. And we're also doing downstream For example, for INA, we are doing the wastewater treatment plant for refineries. We do recycling or reusing of wastewater plants, so it can be used as process water or for irrigation. And we can also take municipal sewage water as a process water for the refineries. I talked already about organic growth, what we want to achieve, and I talk about with an investor, we can grow much faster with the same EBIT margins. What is important for the key drivers? We have heard it today. This is certain environmental regulations. It is you need more and more water. You see now in the shale gas area how much water is needed. We are not in this business. We can go, but also you need more and more water to inject. And especially when you have sticky oil, which with an oil price of $100 is worth to make with steam to get the oil out. Also, this technology is very much demanded at the moment. In which regions we are? Certainly we have a base in Houston where we cover mostly Gulf of Mexico and Brazil. We are also active in Dubai, covering the Emirates. We are in Libya. We have a foothold in Tripolis, which is very successful this year. And we have in Bergen in Norway and in Scotland. Scotland is the offshore center. And we have a headquarter in Milan. And we just founded an aquarium in Germany where a whole team of a market leader joined us. So we are very proud of that. So we have the different treatment steps. You have a primary, second, and tertiary. We have all the know-how. We have the technologies in-house. Partly we develop it ourselves. Partly we license it. We have licenses with forward osmosis company, and we license it with, or we buy companies or invest companies, what we want to do with a spent caustic treatment company in Canada, which we have. So our market is growing very strong. Only this equipment onshore, the market is according to GWI, almost $2 billion very soon. The compound average growth rate is almost 12%. It's only the equipment. It's without pipe, without construction and so on. And because Russia is a very important market for us, we have looked at this market quite a long time, and we have definitely the interest to set up a subsidiary there. You see also from GWI, the industrial water treatment is growing quite fast. The predictions are forecasted quite high. And you see from the whole $4.5 billion market for water treatment, chemical services and equipment, almost $300 million is spent for industrial water treatment only in the Russian market. You see again the development. Very important is that we are not just a Me Too company because we have access to many technologies. As I told you, we have also our own patents developed. Just one was released last week for our offshore company. So with this technology differentiation plus the market niche, either it's geographical or it is, like I told you, in spent caustic, we have this technology. Here you see our customers, the who is who. We have two kinds of customers, general contractors like Technip, Bechtel, Black & Veatch, Holy Basin, Fluor, or we go directly to the end customer like North Oil Company in Iraq, like Eni, like Occidental, Waha Oil, and so on. And here you see the story. We found it more or less end of 2010. We make a first acquisition in Norway, in Italy, Gemwater. We have in Dubai, and we bought now. We founded now also the Aquarius Water in Germany, and we are really want to do something in Tatarstan or in Russia. So this is our next steps we have in mind. And you see our backlog is very strong with more than 30 million. We're just expecting the next 25 million euro or dollar order. So for what we need the money for acquisitions, we have on our list, which enhance our technological competencies, for working capital, especially for the bank guarantees and for our investments we want to do. And finally, we want to do BOT. BOT means we own the plant, we have it on our balance sheet, and we sell water or we get paid for treated water. That's a very attractive thing because you have recurring revenues and not only the volatility of a project business. And we have seen a lot of BOT projects, but we need capital to make the necessary investments on our balance sheet. Thank you very much for your interest.
The markets that you're active in currently, you talked about Libya, Iraq, Nigeria, and you're talking about next about Russia. What is it that leads you to select a particular market to pursue?
Yes, Iraq especially, and unfortunately Iran is not possible at the moment, or very, very difficult. Our Milan subsidiary, or the most important company, have worked since more than 35 years in these countries. They have enormous, tremendous local know-how, how to cover risk, how to secure your payments, and this is a real value what the group has, because newcomers will get bloody noses when they go to Iraq. They don't know how the things rule. The same is true for Libya, maybe not so complicated than Iraq. Also here we have a subsidiary there, which is also since 30 years active. Maybe if you know water business, they're all ex-Ionics guy. Ionics was an American company which was bought by GE, and the whole team jumped off because they had clashes with GE corporate culture. And this is the guys who have been always on ground, and they know how to do business. And that's the reason, because here we have a value added because of our local experience in these markets.
So particularly when you're thinking about establishing business in Russia, are there key elements that you're looking for to replicate the successes you've had in the other areas?
Yes, very important is because we have I know some Russian companies very well, like Mediana Filter in Moscow or the Biotech Progress in St. Petersburg. So what is very important that you have a maximum high-level local content in Russia. And Russia have a different way of how they want equipment. It's different than you in other parts of the world. So you must really adapt to the needs of the market. And this you can only do when you're local, when you make the local engineering, when you make local procurement, local assembling to the maximum level. And this is the way how you can make success. And we saw Mediana was the only bidder for a Lukoil wastewater treatment plant. They got a margin you cannot believe. Or Biotech Progress was the only bidder for a Rosneft plant. So here we see very interesting market opportunities for us, provided that we do it locally.